What's happening, guys? Welcome to today's vlog. Today is all about fat gain while bulking. Out on my morning walk here, getting some podcasts in and a few thousand steps, but fat gain while bulking. It's inevitable because to maximize muscle mass, you're gonna wanna be eating in a caloric surplus. You're gonna wanna be eating more calories than you're expending. This provides ample energy so you can use that energy to build muscle. Building muscle is an energy costly demand. And while you're in that caloric surplus, some of that surplus is likely gonna be stored as fat tissue and some of it is gonna be used for muscle mass. But speaking of fat tissue, let's see how much we were weighing this morning.
Won't be long before we're in those 180s, but let's get showered and get kind of woken up for the morning.
Some people will gain more muscle and some people will gain more fat in response to a caloric surplus. And this is largely due to someone's genetics. Yes, someone can alter this a little bit by staying a little more lean, although I'm not 100% sold that if you're 10% body fat, you're gonna gain more muscle during a surplus in comparison to fat rather than being, 15, 18% body fat, especially if you are performing better and recovering better at the higher body fat percentages. I'm not totally sold on that. I think that if you compare like 10% to 20+%, then yeah, that's probably true. But I don't know, if you're still within that decent range, I don't think it's gonna matter a whole lot. And of course, resistance training is also gonna benefit your partitioning ratio, because if you're not resistance training and you're just eating in caloric surplus, then that's just a path to fat gain. But let's see if I can make my morning work look somewhat entertaining for you guys. It's kind of been one of those mornings where everything just has been a little bit off. Like, I've been trying to add these sick transitions for you guys and my program keeps freaking crashing every time I do it. And it took me like an hour to add this little 2-second transition, which is pathetic, but it is what it is. I'm not beating myself up too much about it. But we just had that pre-workout meal here. My omelet actually stayed an omelet today, so that was pretty cool. But what wasn't cool was I accidentally added cumin to my oatmeal instead of cinnamon. So cumin flavored oatmeal. It actually tasted okay, but I think the banana in it masked the cumin, so that was all right. But let's get back to body fat and putting it on while bulking. And a big contributor to how someone looks while they bulk is body fat distribution, and this is largely genetic as well. How you distribute your body fat can make a huge difference. Like my boy Steve Hall, he distributes his body fat pretty dang well. And if you look at photos of him at like 170 pounds compared to 190 pounds, his like midsection, his abs kind of look the same and his arms just kind of look bigger. And I feel like he just looks more muscled almost. And he's got a really good look while he's bulking. Whereas other people, like myself, store a lot of fat right over that midsection, but we're gonna build up those abs and we're gonna be able to see them at higher body fat percentages. I just need a few years to do so. But that's enough on body fat for now. We're gonna continue this discussion when I do a little voiceover of my training here coming up, but I've got something to show you guys later too. It's a package coming today, kind of excited for it, so I'm excited to show you guys, but let's head off to the gym. Push session underway here. I'll talk about how good these close grip benches went in just a sec, but first I want to discuss another little tidbit on body fat and gaining it while going through a massing phase. And that's, some people don't feel good or progress well in the gym until they hit a certain body fat anyways. So some people might have like poor distribution, like I talked about earlier, a poor body fat distribution. Some people might just genetically gain more fat in a caloric surplus. And then some people might have to be a little bit fatter to progress really well in the gym. So if you don't progress well until you kind of get a little more chunky, like myself, then you might not really put on a ton of muscle until you are a little bit higher up in body fat. And I'm not saying that you should just get fat so you can progress. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there's some individuals that can stay pretty lean and progress really well in the gym, and they might not have to worry about putting body fat on as much during a gaining phase. But individuals who don't progress well until they're a little bit higher in body fat, and maybe if they also have a little poor body fat distribution, they might have to really, learn to accept some fat gain and not looking shredded all the time, and really thinking about this as a long-term investment to build as much muscle over time. So that little tidbit is just that some people have to be a little bit heavier to progress in the gym. But speaking of that, I'm pushing 180 pounds and progress is becoming pretty dang predictable. So what I mean by that is I go in the gym and there's usually some exercise every time in where I progress something. And I credit some of that to programming and staying within my MEV and MRV and things like that, but I credit a lot of it to gaining weight. And my close grip bench presses, I've always wanted to be able to just rep 225 on the bench press, and we're gonna get there on this bulk. I guarantee it. I'm not gonna stop until I can rep 225, because earlier was 205 for 6, and it probably was at like a 0 to 1 RPE, and there was some butt lift there, but that bench is so low to the ground in which it's hard to get any leg drive without lifting your butt at all. So I'm okay with it. I've counted it, but we're gonna get that 225 for reps. Don't you worry about that. And that's something that's fun too. While you're gaining, set some strength goals that's like, all right, I'm not gonna try to cut until I hit this number. That's something that has really helped me out as well. But we're finishing up with some triceps supersetted with overhead extensions. I like this nice little metabolite superset here, but after my workout, it was rated pretty good outside and I get pretty wet. So hopefully you look forward to that. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of this vlog.
Chances are you can't hear me right now, but I am soaked. It is pouring outside. Look at this. At least we had a good workout and we're going home to shower anyways.
All dried off now. Just had my pre-workout meal, but we're trying to get my gym stuff dried off. So we've got a nice little setup going on over here. Got the fan blowing on it. I need it for my leg day tomorrow, but I'm sure it'll be good by tomorrow. But what is the solution to fat gain while bulking? How can you turn it into a positive thing? And how can you ensure that you're gonna be building more muscle rather than gaining more fat? Well, there's kind of 4 different things that I think you can do to accomplish this. And number 1 is gonna be training with sufficient volumes. So sufficient volume, that's probably 10 to 20 sets per muscle per week, and your rep range on average is gonna be in the 8 to 15 rep range. That said, it's still gonna be kind of relative to you, depending on how well you recover and how you're responding to your training volumes and things like that. And I've made videos about that you can check out and learn more about. So the first tip is to ensure that you're training with a sufficient amount of volume. But let's go see if my package came today. Oh yeah, baby. It is here. Let's see. I think I might have got something else too. So we are gonna see here. So that's awkward. Usually there's a key on here that opens that thing out, but I don't see that key. So we're gonna have to check that later. But my package that I really wanted is here right now. So that's good. This is probably super interesting to you guys, but I got a new bag, and the reason I got this is because it's got some cool compartments for my laptop and stuff, and the bag I currently had didn't have anything for that, so now I can kind of carry my laptop, all my school books and everything like that. And I just think it kind of looks kind of neat. It's got like this totally adult briefcase thing, and it's got that single strap, or if I want to get fancy with it, I can do the double strap on the back. I can do a single arm strap. I can get all kinds of creative with this, but that's enough on that. You guys probably don't care at all about this, but let's move on to some epic montage of me making dinner. Just got done with dinner here. We're gonna do a little bit of a time lapse of me eating dinner. But as we do that, I wanna discuss a couple more things that you can do that's gonna help out with fat gain while you're bulking. And the second thing is to view it as a tool to increase performance. Viewing fat as a tool to help you progress in the gym, rather than thinking about it as something that's bad or something that's a negative. If you kind of frame it as, okay, this fat that I gain is probably gonna help me increase my performance, and if I can increase my performance, I might be able to progressively overload a little bit more, build more muscle. And by doing this, you can really learn to accept that, you know, gaining a little bit of fat is not a bad thing. The third thing you can do is to realize that no one really cares. The difference in how you look between, say, 175 pounds and 185 pounds, like, for one, no one's really gonna be able to tell that difference unless you look at previous photos and really compare it side to side or things like that. And, you know, no one really cares. Honestly, most people really just care about themselves or their close families and things like that. And if you're worried about like your close family and maybe your significant other worrying about that, well then just have an honest conversation with them and be like, hey, you know, I'm deciding to go through this gaining phase. I'm gonna put on a little bit of weight, you know, but it's for my long-term goals, for something I'm really passionate about. And if they can't understand that, then, you know, maybe they shouldn't be a part of your life. And the fourth thing that you can do is to look at all the positives that a gaining phase brings. This includes, but is not limited to, looking bigger in t-shirts. Like, I know that's a big one for me. Like, when I'm in the gym, I look a lot bigger at higher body fat percentages rather than when I'm actually leaner and like have pretty well-defined abs and things like that. Also, you'll have a lot more meal flexibility, so you can go out to eat with family, friends, and as long as you're within, you know, a couple hundred calories, you're gonna be just fine. And you really don't have to worry about it as much if you're just trying to, you know, maintain a lower body fat level. Not only this, but you're probably not gonna have any food focus. You're just gonna be able to eat more foods that you enjoy. You're gonna be generally satiated. You're gonna have more energy. You might sleep better. You might recover better. And there's a whole bunch of things that are positives to a gaining phase. So I really hope that this does help you out. I know for me personally, it's difficult. It's hard to accept fat gain. Like, coming from someone that was previously pretty much obese, well, I would have been classified as obese. It's really difficult to start seeing, you know, the abs start to blur and things like that. And it's taken me a really long time to get to the point to where I'm not nearly as worried about putting on a little bit of fat. So I really do hope that this helps you out and that you took something away from it. If you did take something away from it and you want to really help me out, it helps me a ton when you like my videos, when you comment on my videos. It really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm and things like that. And if you could share this with somebody that you enjoy, you know, saying, hey, that Ryan guy, he's not so bad, I would really appreciate it. So that's all I got for you. I'll see you in that next one.